It was a close friend who clued me in that my wife of 21 years was cheating on me. My buddy Bruce called me at work to tell me that he had just seen my wife Libby walking hand in hand into a cheap hotel on the outskirts of our town. He said he took some pictures on his phone. Of course, I didn't believe it at first. I figured there had to be a logical explanation for her going into the hotel room with another man in the middle of the day when she was supposed to be working. I'm TJ, by the way. I asked Bruce to send me the pictures right away. I sat there dumbfounded. There was no mistaking that it was my wife, Libby, in the pictures. That night, I asked her about her day, questioning her if she went anywhere for lunch. To my surprise, she lied, said she ate at her desk. I gave her a surprised look, asking her again, "Are you sure you didn't go out for lunch?" Libby's reaction shocked me even more. I said, "No, what? Are you questioning if I'm lying?" There was anger in her voice, no trace of guilt. The pictures along with her lie really didn't prove anything. I did what every other man who thinks his wife is cheating on him does. I went to a private investigator. They were not what I expected. Instead of the seedy, dark, smoke-filled office with an old, disgraced cop, I was ushered into a bright, modern office with two nerdy-looking young men. They impressed me with their tech-savvy and understanding of how to get to places that everyday people couldn't. While impressive, they weren't cheap. Not cheap, but very effective. In 2 weeks, I was back in their office. A folder was pushed across the table that contained a full report that contained pictures and videos. It detailed my wife's affairs with two different men, one with a salesman at her work and the second with a mechanic who she met working on her car. She had been with the salesman, Dan Calhoun, for over a year, and the mechanic, Henry Chambers, for just a few months. With the evidence in hand, my next stop was a divorce attorney. Had this been a one-time thing, I might have been able to forgive her, but cheating on me for over a year was too much. There were several transcripts in the report from her liaisons with the salesman that indicated he was not her first affair. The transcripts further made it clear that Libby enjoyed her current situation and wanted it to continue. She liked having the security and stability of the life I've provided for her, but also loved being with other men. She worked, but it was my business that provided our good way of life. Our son and daughter were away at Big Ten colleges thanks to the money I made. My visit with the divorce lawyer was an eye-opener at the very least. I quickly learned that divorce laws have no interest in who the cheating party is. They are set up to make sure the man gets screwed in every way possible. Yes, that is just my editorial, but the lawyer agreed. I left the lawyer's office angry and depressed. My next problem shouldn't have been a problem, but given my wife's actions, I was depressed about that too. I had a meeting with my business accountant, Jerry. Jerry was going to explain the big success that was looming for my business. We had 3 new accounts that were going to push the business worth over $10 million. Jerry stopped halfway through his presentation. I don't get it. I'm telling you that all your hard work has finally paid off, making you a rich person, and you look like you're about to kick my back. I swallowed hard and told Jerry my sad story of Libby cheating on me and how the lawyer told me that not only would she get half of everything, but I would probably have to liquidate the company to pay her off. That didn't count the monthly alimony payments she would get to continue to be with her lovers. The only saving grace was the kids were out of the house. Oh, the house. She would get that too. Jerry gave me his condolences and suggested we postpone our meeting until I was in a better frame of mind. Jerry packed up and went back to his office. My afternoon in the office was completely unproductive till late in the day when Jerry called. TJ, can you swing by my office on the way home? I have an idea. Anything to prolong facing Libby was preferable. Jerry ushered me into his office and closed the door. First, I need to ask you some questions. You've always told me that Libby has very little interest in your business. Is that still correct? I nodded, confused about where he was going. Then I'm going to assume that she has no idea that the value of your company is about to go through the roof? That's right. I've never talked to her much about the business, and we really haven't done much talking lately. Where are you going with this? Jerry put up his hand. Just bear with me, I'm almost there. Last thing, She doesn't know that you know she is cheating on you, right? Right. I haven't confronted her and haven't said a word. Okay, divorce is your solution, he replied. Have you not been listening? The lawyer said I would be at a significant disadvantage in a divorce. No, you get a disadvantage if you confront her and divorce her. You're going to divorce her and get her to agree to your terms. How the hell am I going to do that? Blackmail her with the photos and video. With all the money at stake, she won't care. You're thinking about this wrong. She's going to agree because she won't know what is actually happening. Have you ever heard of a tax divorce? I looked at him confused, shaking my head. It was a thing a few years ago. Couples would get a divorce at the end of the year for tax purposes. There was a flood of these tax divorces in December for couples where they both worked, but one made considerably more than the other. It could save some couples enough to take an expensive trip where they would get married again. The government has closed off most of those loopholes, but I'm betting your wife doesn't know a lot about tax law. I don't know, Jerry. Several times in the transcripts, she states that she doesn't want a divorce. She just wants to have men on the side. She likes the life I provide for her. She even talked about quitting her job to have more time to fool around. That's even better. We'll use her greed against her. You tell her that your business is about to expand, but it is going to have substantial tax consequences. You tell her you may have to take a few more out-of-town trips, but she would be able to quit her job a short time. She will see that she could have the best of all worlds for her. More time to mess around and more money. Tell her I've proposed this tax divorce with the payoff being a trip to Hawaii for the remarriage and a lot more money. Is that legal? I asked. Of course it is legal. We draw up the paperwork with fair terms, but with you keeping your business and no alimony. Let me get to work on a draft. I will get back to you in a couple of days. It will work, I promise. You must keep it under wraps that you know about her cheating. We don't want her getting suspicious of your motives. That might be the hardest part, I thought to myself. It was hard not to show my contempt for Libby. I almost lost it when she told me she was going to have to start working late on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The private investigator's report showed that she was with the mechanic on Tuesdays and the salesman on Thursdays. I was a little sarcastic, but kept my cool. A week later, Jerry had the paperwork ready. He gave me a report to give Libby that would show how much we would save. It also pointed out the details that we would have to execute to make the savings happen, like putting the house in Libby's name only. I was just glad it was Wednesday when I was going to have my talk. I didn't think I could hold it together if I knew that she had just been with one of her boyfriends. I was seated at the kitchen table with 3 folders on the table when she walked in. Honey, we need to talk. I knew those words would get her attention. The pale, shocked look on her face told me I was right. Libby looked at the folders with fear. Is there something wrong? She asked with her voice trembling. I picked up the first folder and opened it. No. This a good thing, but I want you to hear me out before you say anything. My company has been doing well, but is about to do even better. You know I have been able to provide for our family well, but always had to keep putting the bulk of the profits back into the business. We are on the verge that all paying off. The problem is the tax ramifications. Working with my accountant, he has found a way that we can save about $50,000. Libby's eyes lit up. 50,000? We don't have to do anything illegal, do we? No. He said it is perfectly legal and a lot of people do it. Okay, TJ, quit dancing around. What are you talking about? I pulled out the second folder. It's called a tax divorce. Libby gasped. Just hear me out. A lot of people do this. It rectifies the marriage penalty. In our case, the new revenue will bring a big penalty. Jerry said that many of his clients get divorced in December, then with the money they save, they take an exotic vacation in January to get remarried. They did change some of the rules that you have to stay divorced for 6 months, otherwise it is fraud. Jerry threw that in just in case she Googled tax divorce, because that was a new stipulation by the government. Libby had a shocked look on her face. I had to go into damage control now. We would only be divorced on paper. Jerry did say that we might have to stay divorced the entire year to receive the tax benefits the second year, which could be substantial. I'm going to have to work a few more hours and take a few more trips, but it is going to pay off for the company and us. You could probably even quit your job. There are a few details we would have to work out. I could see the wheels turning in her head. I knew exactly what she was thinking. More money and more time for her to be with her boyfriends. "What is in the details?" she asked. "We actually have to get divorced." I picked up the third folder. "We will have to do a split of our assets. I will do a quick claim deed to you for the house and then split our bank accounts. I will switch all the utilities into your name but have the payments come out of my account. Nothing will change, but we will have more money." Libby had a strange look on her face and then started to talk. I quickly stopped her by taking a poke at her. "Look, I know how much our marriage means to you. We don't have to do this. We can just pay the extra in taxes." I knew I had her at that point. "No, I think it's a good idea. I don't like the idea of us getting divorced, but if it is just on paper, it will be worth it." I tried hard to suppress my smirk. "I don't want to rush you on this decision, but Jerry said we have to move fast to make this work. We must sign the petition and these authorizations, and he will do the rest. Jerry said you need to read through it before you sign it. I do have a trip starting this Friday and going through the weekend." I knew that would seal the deal for my loving, cheating wife. Libby picked up the folder with the petition. "I think it is a good idea. I will read this over and sign it so you can get your accountant on it." Libby signed the paperwork before I took the trip that I told her about. There was no business trip, but I needed time to get everything ready and to see if she fell right in with her boyfriends. I had installed hidden cameras in the house to record her activities. True to her nature, the mechanic was with her on my bed an hour after I left. The divorce went through just as planned, with little changing in our life, other than a complete end to our intimate life. Libby asked about it a couple of times, but I always blamed it on the stress of the job and the new accounts. She didn't push it as she was getting all she needed from her two boyfriends. I was keeping tabs on Libby and her activities in our bedroom. Not that I wanted to see her with other men. I had become immune to that. I needed to know if she had figured out my plan. The divorce became final when the judge signed the decree a week after we filed it, but there were limits on when it could be modified and why. Jerry said we needed to wait 180 days before doing anything permanent. As we approached the 180-day mark of the divorce, I wanted out. I sat down with Jerry to determine the best exit plan. Yes, I wanted out, but I wanted to humiliate her on the way out. I wanted her adultery exposed in the most public way. "Look, TJ, if you let on that you knew about her infidelity before the divorce, she might be able to convince a judge that the tax divorce was just a sham to keep your money away from her," Jerry said. "But she is the cheater. She needs to be punished?" "You don't want to take that chance, do you? This will be easy. You catch her in bed with either one of her guys and move out. Take some pictures so she can't deny it. With that evidence alone, you say you're done with her and just don't get remarried." I jumped up. "And she gets away with cheating on me." "I wouldn't call it getting away with it. She lost all interest in your company, you don't have to pay alimony, and most of all, you're free of her." "No. There has to be a way to burn her that doesn't jeopardize the tax divorce." Jerry put up his hand. "Wait, you have plenty of video of her messing around after the divorce, right?" I nodded. "You used that to publicly announce that you are not getting remarried. Cut off the utilities to the house and stop her money flow. You drop a bomb on her lovers to their wives and just sit back and watch the fireworks. I can say I discovered her cheating after the divorce and still torture. TJ, this would be a good time to cut her off. We have the first of those 3 big contracts coming in. You're about to be very wealthy. My suggestion is to find a place to live and then move out. Leave her hanging for a week or so, then drop the bomb on her. You need to figure out if you are going to clue your kids in on what's going on. They are the hard part of the equation. When they hear of her deception, I think they will be on my side. She had preached to them about honesty and fidelity constantly as they grew up. She made a big deal to our daughter by ratting her out to her then-boyfriend about going to a concert with another boy. As Libby told her, dishonesty in a relationship means the death of that relationship. Jerry chuckled. Damn, what a hypocrite. I think you're right that your daughter will hate her when she finds out. One last thing. You know there is nothing paperwork-wise you need to do to cut ties with Libby. Everything's done, you're not married, and the order is final now. Quit paying her bills to the house that you don't own, and you're done. I concluded my meeting with Jerry, intent on starting my split with Libby. I had already been looking for a place to live and had a nice apartment that I was just waiting to pull the trigger on. I would be ready to move out of my former house in a week. It was important for me that I meet with both of my children before the bomb dropped. Both were living in their college towns taking summer classes. My son, Derek, was quick to jump on my side. He was very angry with what his mother had done and was doing, but agreed not to say anything to her till I moved out. Jennifer, my daughter, wasn't as quick to convince. Her problem was that she couldn't believe that her mother would do such a thing. She didn't believe that her mother would cheat on me, given all her preaching about honesty and fidelity. I hated to do it, but I came prepared. I showed my daughter enough of the evidence to prove her mother's deception. Once she saw the videos, she became very angry. Jennifer wanted to confront her mother herself. It was all I could do to convince her to keep silent till after I moved out of the house. Once back in town, the news was very good. The second contract was about to hit, and I signed the lease on my new apartment. The furniture would be delivered in 2 days. I would start dropping bombs in 2 days. The first thing would be to move out of the house. I accomplished that simply enough while Libby was at work. With the help of a rental truck and some buddies, I took everything from the house that I wanted. I took no furniture, only my keepsakes, my toys, tools, and clothes. I did remove the cameras that I placed around the house. Libby had gotten so used to me not being around that she didn't notice that I had left for several days. It was part 2 of my plan that caused her to notice that my things were gone. My second part of the plan was to bomb her lovers. The wives of both the mechanic and the salesman got untraceable emails with video files showing their husbands with Libby. I felt bad for the pain these families were going to encounter, but I didn't start this, but I would finish it. 30 minutes after I sent the emails to the wives, Libby called, leaving me a message to call her. She assumed I was still out of town. That evening, the calls became more frantic, and she realized that my clothes and other things were gone. I continued to ignore her calls and texts. Both of my children called, telling me that their mother had called in a panic, wanting to know if they had heard from me. Both covered for me, saying they hadn't talked to me in some time. They each tried to get her to tell them what was going on, but she gave up no information. She wouldn't even tell them why she was looking for me. I let her wait 2 more days with no contact. Even though it was Thursday, I figured she would be home alone after the bombs I dropped on her 2 lovers. Oh my God, TJ. What are you doing knocking on the front door of your own house, and where have you been? I've been calling you for days. No, Libby. This is your house. You have sole title after our divorce. May I come in? Yes, of course, come in. What is all this nonsense you are talking about? We need to talk about when we are getting remarried. I'm tired of all this game we are playing with this fake divorce. Good. That's what I want to talk about too. Our divorce is very real and very legal. You seem to be taking full advantage of it too. There was fear in Libby's eyes, but she was acting indignant. What's that supposed to mean? I told you I'm done with this nonsense and am ready to renew our vows. I couldn't help but bust out laughing. Stop laughing. Where has all your stuff gone? Oh, you noticed. I moved out. I got tired of sleeping in the bed you have been with your lovers. Libby gasped. Please, like you said, let's stop the games. I know you've been with 2 different men on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and when I'm out of town. I guess we're not legally married, so technically you aren't cheating on me. But as a result of your activities, I have reconsidered my decision to renew our marital vows. I think it is best we stay divorced. That is why I have moved out. Shock and anger filled Libby's face. What? No. That's not how this is going to work. We are married. That thing with the tax divorce was a sham. I'll go to court. We are married, damn it. Again, no. It is very legal you signed it in front of the judge. I guess you could claim that you committed a fraud upon the court, but that would be a crime. I won't support you admitting to a crime. Forget that. I know what you are up to. Somehow you found out about me and Dan, and you concocted this whole tax divorce scheme to cheat me out of my share of your company. Well, it won't work. Oh my God, Libby. Are you telling me that you were cheating on me while we were married? You damn well know I was. I know it was you who tipped off their wives. I hope you're happy. You ruined 2 marriages with your little anonymous emails. Both were kicked out of their homes and are facing very messy divorces. Both? Oh my God, there are 2? You were cheating on me with 2 men. Be that as it may, our divorce is legal. You are welcome to spend all the money you have to try to get it set aside, but I believe you are wasting your money. You might want to figure out what you are going to tell our kids about your cheating. I think they are very disappointed in you. You son of a blip, you told them, didn't you? Why the hell did you have to do that? I don't know what you are so upset about. I had to tell them why we are not getting remarried. Stop this nonsense. We are married and we are going to stay that way. That stuff with Dan and Tim is over. It didn't mean anything. I love you. Look, I know I made some mistakes, but I want to do whatever I can to be the best wife I can be. Libby, that's great. I'm so glad you see what you did was wrong. Your next husband will benefit from your experience. By the way, I haven't told your parents. I'll let you tell them unless you want me to do that too. My mom was shocked. She didn't believe you were such a cheating woman. I had to show her some of the tamer videos to get her to believe me. She did want me to tell you you're not welcome for Thanksgiving or Christmas or really anything. She said something about slapping your face if she ever saw you again. Libby babbled on about me throwing our marriage away and begging me to give her another chance. I left the house with her crying and cursing at me at the same time. Libby did try to get the divorce decree set aside. Upon failure of that, she sued to modify the divorce conditions. It was comical watching her in open court arguing to the judge that I knew she was with 2 men for a year before the divorce, and that I concocted the tax divorce to cheat her out of her share of my money. It seemed that she forgot that her parents and our kids were in the courtroom when she made these statements. When the judge ruled against her, he lectured her about cheating and blaming others for her own problems. After hearing that her parents confronted her about her cheating with 2 men while we were married. Apparently, she told them I was leaving her for another woman and trying to cheat her out of my business. It ended with her mom slapping Libby's face. Libby turned to Jennifer and Derek, who turned their back on their mother. None of them wanted anything to do with her after the hearing. And so, we've reached the end of today's story. Was it what you expected, or did it take a twist you didn't see coming? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below, and let's get a conversation going. If this story kept you hooked, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here or just haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to join our community. I bring you fresh, captivating stories every day, so click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.